So it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines we have development strategy for low carbon emissions. For the international scene, Attica region at risk of desertification due to the forest fires in Greece. Welcome to our newsroom. The head of state expresses his warm congratulations to the President of India. The head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, expressed his warmest wishes for well-being, health and happiness to the President of India, Ms. Draupadi Murmu, on the occasions of the India's national holiday. The people and government of Djibouti also join me in expressing their sympathy and friendship to the people of India, wrote President Guelleh in the telegram to Ms. Draupadi Murmu. Your country is all the more right to celebrate its national holiday with the pomp and big as it has long since achieved the benefits of sustainable development, noted the head of state, who reiterated the determinations of the people and government of Djibouti to work towards strengthening relations of friendship and cooperation between the two nations. The Republic of Djibouti condemns in the strongest terms and denounces the storming of the esplanade of the Blessed of Al-Aqsa Mosque by the two extremist ministers of the Israeli occupation government, members of the Knesset, and hundreds of extremist settlers brandishing the occupation flag inside and preventing worshippers from entering the mosque under police protection. Djibouti warns of the repercussions of these repeated incursions which provoke the indignations of millions of Muslims around the world and constitute flagrant violations of international law and of the historical and legal status quo in Jerusalem and its holy sites. The Republic of Djibouti also calls on the international community to assume its responsibilities to force the government of occupation to put an end to these violations and to provide the necessary protection to the brotherly Palestinian people and to these holy places. Last night, our capital once again fell victim to heavy rain, a phenomenon that seems to be becoming a worrying constant in our urban landscape. At around 3 a.m., while the majority of the city's inhabitants were sleeping peacefully, a veritable deluge descended on the city, transforming the arteries into the tumultuous torrents and our avenue into makeshift canals in the space of a few hours. Upon awakening, city dwellers discovered a sadly familiar sight. The city's main thoroughfares, usually teeming with life, were strewn with the vast puddles, creating an almost creating landscape in the heart of the capital. From the very first light of the dawn, they could be seen skillfully slaloming between the puddles, determined to carry on with their daily activities against all odds. It's also worth remembering that the relevant authorities are currently working on a long-term action plan to strengthen our ability to cope with this extreme weather event as the water slowly recedes and life returns to normal. One question remains on everyone's mind: when will the next downpour once again turn our capital into an improvised Venice? And above all, will we be better prepared next time? So the meteorological services remain on alert, keeping a close eye on how the situation is developed. They call on residents to remain vigilant and to keep abreast for the forecasts. For more details on the situations and future weather forecasts. For his part, the representative of the Boulos commune, Mr. Ali Addawa, said that this scenes, which is repeated with alarming frequency, highlights the vulnerability of our infrastructure to the whims of an increasingly unpredictable natural environment. Despite the obvious inconvenience caused by these floods-soaked shoes, transport delays, flooded cellars, the inhabitants of our city have once again shown remarkable resilience. The summer rains of the hot season have been on target in the Ali Sabih region as everywhere else in the country. The area not far from the capital of the Ali Sabih region, the rains that occur at the height of the hot season are nocturnal water spouts. The air and atmosphere has become mild thanks to the precipitation. The city has been immersed in cool season weather since this morning. On Wednesday, August 14, 2024, the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development, through the Environment Directorate, in collaboration with the UNDP, organized a workshop at the Sheraton Hotel to launch the project to draw up the vision and roadmap for Djibouti's future long-term low-carbon development strategy. The opening ceremony was chaired by Mr. Dini Abdullah Omar, Secretary General of the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development. The launch workshop was attended by the UNDP's acting representative in Djibouti, Mr. Clark Philippe, the Director of Environment, Idris Ismail Noor, members of the National Steering Committee on Climate Change, representatives of the various ministries, representatives of the regional councils, and representatives of the civil society. The overall objectives of the workshop is to develop a vision and roadmap for Djibouti's long-term low-carbon strategy. This initiative is part of the implementation of the Paris Climate Agreement ratified by the Republic of Djibouti in 2016, and recommending that countries achieve a long-term development strategy with low greenhouse gas emissions and the ultimate goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2050. For his part, the acting representative of the UNDP in Djibouti, Mr. Clark Philippe, said that the overall objective of the workshop is to develop a vision and roadmap for Djibouti's long-term low-carbon strategy. For his part, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Environment, Dini Abdullah Omar, has indicated the overall objectives of the workshop is to develop a vision and roadmap for Djibouti's long-term low-carbon strategy. This initiative is part of the implementation of the Paris Climate Agreement ratified by the Republic of Djibouti in 2016, and recommending that countries achieve a long-term development strategy with low greenhouse gas emissions and the ultimate goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2050. For the international scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin reiterated Russia's support for the creation of a Palestinian state during his meeting in Moscow with Mahmoud Abbas, President of the Palestinian Authority. Discussions focused on bilateral relations, the situation in the Middle East, and the war in Gaza. Despite the current conflict, Putin affirmed that Russia's position in favor of a peaceful settlement with Israel remains unchanged. For his part, Mahmoud Abbas expressed his gratitude to Russia, calling Putin a friend of Palestinian people. The African Union declares a public health emergency in the face of the spread of mpox. The African Union has declared a public health emergency in response to the growing epidemic of mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, on the African continent. Since January 2022, 38,465 cases have been recorded in 16 countries, resulting in 1,456 deaths, with an alarming 116% increase in cases in 2024 compared to the previous year. Jean Cassenia, President of the Africa CDC Health Agency, stressed the importance of moving from a reactive approach to a proactive and aggressive strategy to contain and eliminate this threat. With this announcement, the African Union will be able to release funds to improve access to vaccines and coordinate a continental response. In Greece, a forest fire threatened the Attica region with desertification. These fires have caused severe damage to infrastructure, depriving some localities of water and electricity. Once again, this year, the northeast of Attica has found itself at the mercy of the forest fires. On the Thursday, firefighters continued to battle several fires in the various locations. Some areas remain without water and electricity, as the damage to infrastructure is considerable. One of the worst affected areas is Varnavas, where the fires broke out. Experts now warned that the risks of desertification in Attica is enormous. According to the estimate, 14% of the surrounding forest has disappeared in recent years as the nightmare repeats itself. Its inhabitants of many parts of Attica have experienced a dramatic moment over the last 24 hours. And in South Africa, elephant increasingly threatened by poaching. The beginning of this week marks the celebrations of the World Elephant Day, a day created to raise awareness of the need to help and protect these animals from threats. In South Africa, an organization is working for the well-being of these endangered species at the Adventures with the Elephant Reserve in Bela Bela. The health of the rescued elephant graze and cool of the water's edge under a blazing sun. For Shin Hansman, general managers of the reserve, August 12 is not just a day of celebration. According to the World Elephant Day Society, elephants in Africa and Asia are increasingly threatened by poachers and habitat losses. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.